Madam Presiding Officer, let me firstly thank you for this opportunity to contribute to this debate, which for the layman looking in, really is a situation where we are coming to the House to approve a policy that is, that is not yet determined. And, you know, in local parlance, we call that putting the cart before the horse. Because, you see, we have a situation here where we are discussing perhaps what might be, what might not, without really understanding what will be the final outcome. Because when you look at the first be it resolved, we have already concluded that the only approach that will work in this system is a case conferencing system without allowing the committee that we are proposing to do its work. Because really and truly, yes, there's merit in a case conference system and model, but a case conferencing system will not address all the issues that currently faces our social support delivery. Because think about it. What this case conferencing system and model is about, and I just want to perhaps share with my good friend from Bethel, New Grange, that it's not simply a centralized system, because you have persons working in their various units, but what you would have is the synergy, and the conferencing is where you bring all the minds together. So it's not really a central, because you said a central clearinghouse, but a central clearinghouse means there's one place where everybody resides and the issues are dealt together. So take, for example, someone have an emergency. Do you now case conference this emergency? This person needs help right now, right where they are. And they go to Division of Social Services, Social Protection, to get the support they need, the rental grant assistance. Because they don't live anywhere, they don't have a house to fix, so they don't need anything from settlements. Would we still call the Division of Settlements, call agriculture, call community development, and call all these people to case conference to get this support to this client? And while we're on this situation of case conferencing and emergencies, there are other issues that I can see arising out of this. There's the ethical concerns. Because when you're dealing, and I'm sure the Secretary of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, who would have been my colleague in the past in the Division of Health, would recall that there are certain information sharing protection when it comes to medical information. So someone who has a mental health case, that person's information cannot just be arbitrarily shared across platforms. So are we going to conference that client? And how are we going to conference that client? Are we going to breach the medical ethical responsibilities that we all should observe? Madam Presiding Officer, we in the minority understand the impact of COVID-19. And you see, whereas we recognize the first preamble of the motion speaks to the damaging effects of COVID-19 on the population of Tobago, we also understand that this motion does not necessarily treat with the fundamental issues facing the average Tobagonian at this time. And what are those issues? Unemployment. Madam Presiding Officer, ad nauseum, I am inundated with persons coming to my electoral district office seeking employment. How does such a system help or improve the lives of the unemployed? How does this system really treat with the development needs of the Tobago economy so that we can employ more people? As we speak right now, I can give you a case of someone in my electoral district, a grandmother, child with special needs, renting, unemployed, went to access services at the division, and you know what she was told? That she cannot get help and she cannot access the rental assistance grant because she's unemployed. What kind of crazy policy is that? That the policy to give someone with a special needs child, unemployed, requiring a grant, that they have to be or were employed first, or they have to be underemployed to get the rental assistance grant. And these, for me, these are the issues we need to treat with first and foremost, and this is why I would be recommending, and I would recommend, that rather than we look at the theoretical approaches, let us look at real approaches. And perhaps we should be discussing here, even within this motion, creating a bipartisan committee to look at how we remodel and retool the social support grants within the Tobago House of Assembly to meet the current needs of the average Tobagonian post-COVID-19. Because these are the way that you really improve life. This is the way you would change life. It's not about having persons sit down in separate spaces and conferencing. Because think about it. Who is going to manage the process? Who is going to ensure that every officer is readily available at the same time to treat with the specific needs of the client coming for support? I know for a fact, in the Division of Health, in the Division of Settlements, Mr. Pollard, how many social officers you have? I think you have 2, one in the east and one in the west. How, if we are inundated with over 100 requests, let's say it's a natural disaster, and everybody requires support, how do we manage that all at the same time with only 2 officers in your department? 2 social support officers. Are we planning to hire more people? I mean, it sounds good in theory. We understand what you're trying to achieve, but is it practical? And as a minority, we would ask the questions. So as you go into your meeting, you go into your committee of social support personnel, you can have the considerations so that you can properly diagnose the issue. And while we talk about diagnosing issues, we have to be careful that we don't misdiagnose issues in the Tobago space, especially when it comes to social support. Because I'll tell you this, one of the experiences I have working within the Division of Health over the years is that the issue or the issues aren't so much that we don't have sufficient grants and that kind of thing. But one is funding and the other is delivery, increasing efficiency, moving away the bureaucracy so that persons who really need the support can get the support quickly and on time. And I'm not too sure that this kind of approach, where we are now moving, where you have to really pull people together, or even if one person takes the information, but there has to be some kind of evaluation if we are not adding more time to the process. Because oftentimes when somebody leaves Charlottesville to come to town, it's because they have an urgent need. And when they go in that office, their expectation is, when I walk out of that place that I went to, my needs should be fulfilled. Will this system answer that kind of problem? And I know we want to do things differently. I know the passion of the secretary. But I would caution as we go forward that perhaps, we do some more consultation so we have a full understanding and appreciation, a holistic appreciation for the issues that we are trying to diagnose, so that when we diagnose the issues and when we apply the solutions, there are solutions that could in fact improve the lives of the persons and of the clients, of the end users of the product and the service. Madam Presiding Officer, I came here with a message because, when you read the context of the second whereas, and where it alludes to some policies, the people of Darrell Spring Wim has asked me to convey their concerns as to whether the song policies of the PDP applies to the people of Darrell Spring Wim. And it is in the context that we have a road in Spring Trace in Darrell Spring. That project commenced sometime in October, November. The project was halted after the successful outcome of the PDP, and to date that project has not recommenced. However, at the same time, the people of Darrell Spring Wim, they are seeing roads being paved in Boko and have no issues with Sunny Days having his roads paved. But at the same time, it must not be one where we are neglecting one area while we are at the same time ensuring that we retreat with the other areas. So pay Boku. But all I'm asking, and all the people of Darrell Spring Wim is asking, is that you also pave and finish the job that was started in Spring Trace, Darrell Spring Wim. And jobs, the young fellas, they're hearing, they're seeing, and they're hearing agri taking on people, they're hearing health taking on people, works taking on people, and they want to know if the people from Darrell Spring Wim and people too, because it doesn't seem like they can't get any job at all. Is this the 3 votes or they're punishing the people for? I don't know. But I'm asking, as we develop the policies, the policies, let us develop them and apply them to all of Tobago fairly and equitably. Madam Presiding Officer, as I close, because I don't think I will have another opportunity to wish, first and foremost, my mother, God-fearing woman, and my beautiful wife, Happy Mother's Day. I want to extend Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers of Trinidad and Tobago and the world, including my good friend from Bethesda, Lekoto, her mother. I also want to wish her a Happy Mother's Day. I thank you.